Producers Co-op was started as a wool and mohair marketing co-op back in 1944. And as pictures show, they were just small wooden warehouses originally set up, and they were filled with wool and mohair because apparently Comal County was a big headquarters for sheep and goats back in those days. So Producers Co-op was originally made as a marketing co-op.
I was born with sheep and goats and cattle, but I mean, in the years past, all the hill country was full of sheep and goats. I mean, and in the 70s, after I got out of school, I went and bought wool and mohair at the Producers Co-op and graded it there, and we'd shipped it all over the country. We had different buyers come in and give us bids on it, and then when we thought we had the best bid on it, we shipped it. We shipped it all the way to New York. Most of it went to New York and some to North Carolina by rail, most of it, and then some by truck also.
So I actually got hired by an older gentleman, the president of the board. His name was Wilton Stubing, and my job was a grease monkey, guys. This co-op was so run down. The feed mill was not operable. There wasn't probably 1 out of 5 trucks that were running. So when I started working, that's all I did was start repairing stuff. So that's how we started, just repairing things, trying to get things running. I put my heart and soul into trying to get this feed mill running again. And the way it happens is after 6 months, the interim manager, he's like, really, I'm too old and I've had enough of this. I'm pulling out of here. So the board's like, what are we gonna do now? So they talked with him and he said, hey, why don't y'all just try that young kid as a manager? He busts his butt every day. He tries to do everything he possibly can. He may be your best option. And they're like, well, what does that kid know about running a feed mill? And he said, nothing, but he's the hardest working one that I have seen that I've employed. So the board came to me, asked me to take over as manager. And needless to say, the first 5 to 10 years were complete misery because that co-op was so financially distressed. They owed money to just about every bank that you could think of, so it was tough. It was a tough start. And I didn't know if it was going to work or not when they hired me. But number one, I tried to hire the best employees that I could find. That was the one thing they taught me in college. If you got to surround yourself with the best people that you can find, don't matter how good you are, you got to have a support staff. So I put together just an awesome set of employees that wanted to work, good personalities. Another thing that I think just really helped this thing, as I thought about it, I said, hey, why do we want to be just a regular old feed mill? Back in those days, there were regular old feed mills in pretty much every little town. There were big feed mills like Cargill and ADM. Why do we want to be like everybody else? And I finally decided, like, hey, let's find a niche in the market. So I grew up in the show cattle, show pig industry all of my life. I'm like, I think that I would like to go chase the show feed market. First person that I guess had enough confidence in me was Joe Taylor. I probably hadn't been working for Producers Co-op more than 2 years when Joe and I sat down and we started making the first show feed formula called the Dietert Show Steer Feeds. It was called Dietert Show Steer Feed. That got us started. Wasn't many years after that, I had been good friends with a gentleman, and everybody in the United States knows Brandon Horn. He lives in Anson, Texas, a little bit north of Abilene. So I talked to him, I said, Brandon, can I try to start making show feed for you? And he's like, sure. And we ran show feeds for probably 6 months until he and I got that thing tweaked exactly the way we wanted, and we started shipping feed to him, and he was probably one of my biggest assets because he knows people all over the United States, and he started recommending this feed to people, and it just took off like gangbusters. Not much longer after that, we hooked up with Mr. Timmy Luchek from McCoy, Texas, and we made another line of show feeds called the Luchek line of show feeds. And those three guys just probably set the ball rolling for us, because I was amazed. I mean, when I took over that business, it was so slow. They sold about $1 million a year and struggled to get that done. And when we finally got the show feed market rocking like that, I mean, it is amazing to watch the trucks back up everywhere loading show feed, for us to buy more and more 18-wheelers to send feed all over the state of Texas. So it's amazing. Another big thing that I'll always remember, and Kevin, my assistant manager, came to me, it's probably 25 years ago, and said, hey, we can't keep up anymore. I mean, there's no way we can bag enough feed anymore. He said, can we put in a robotic bagging and stacking system? That was the best $250,000 I ever spent, because that made it where we could start bagging feed faster and faster and faster. So that brand new feed mill is just state of the art now. I mean, it is the newest one in the state of Texas that's that big like that, and that was kind of my last hurrah to get that feed mill running, and I'm very proud of the product that it puts out. And the show feed industry, everything has to be almost perfect. That's why the other feed mills I talk to, they're like, good luck, buddy, because you know, you're gonna have to be perfect to keep that thing rolling, and apparently we did a very good job, because it's turned out awesome so far.
So we were fortunate enough to be able to build this feed mill facility in 2017 and brought it online in 2018. And I believe at the time we were one of the only new feed mills in the state of Texas. So very proud to be a part of designing and managing and starting this thing up. You know, our focus with this feed mill was to continue the quality of product that we've been built a reputation on over the last 80 years, and without noticing a difference versus what we were putting out at our other facility. So we were able to do that, matching a lot of the same equipment, utilizing some new technologies to become more efficient. I'm proud to say that we're able to push out roughly 50% more feed on a day-to-day basis than we were at our old facility. In a good day, running textured, high-quality show feeds, we're able to pump out roughly 3,500 bags a day, and with the capacity to bag roughly 5,000 to 6,000 bags of deer corn a day if needed. You know, that takes a lot of organization to make all that happen, from the logistics of bringing in ingredients, to managing all the raw materials that we need, to managing the logistics of trucking and pushing product out to customers. You know, we're still a pretty small company for as much as we do push through, and I'm proud to say that we're able to manage that on a day-to-day and weekly basis as best that we possibly can. So here at the co-op, our main objective is to use as much local grown grain as we possibly can. Primary corn, we try to use almost 100% locally grown corn in our production facility year-round. Easier said than done sometimes. Weather plays a factor, other things play a factor, price, markets, etc. It takes a lot of work and effort on our part, especially during the summer months, but I'm proud to say that it's kind of a full circle thing for us. We're able to help our producers, who are customers and members of this co-op, by having a market for their grains, taking that grain in, inspecting the quality of it, segregating it, and using it throughout our facility throughout the years in a whole different facet.
My dad started farming in 1948. Been growing a little bit every year, more and more. Now I have my son farming with me, and he has some of his farms. I have some of mine, and we have some together. And we store our own grain, we market our own grain. We've got cattle, we buy feed from the co-op. They're a good supplier for my feed. They're a good buyer for my grain. We need them to buy our grain, because if we produce it, we have to have some place to sell it. The co-op's been a good market.
I'm in the show sheep business. You know, the commercial end has gotten very, you can't hardly make any money on them anymore, so I had to change my views a little bit. I know it costs a lot more to go into the show lamb business, but I've been in it for 45 years and I'm still in it. But I love to watch these kiddos in the show ring and to give our youngsters some responsibility, and that's why I love to see kiddos get involved in agriculture.
You know, I've been raising livestock for about 50 years and been a member for about 45 years. My dad was a member some 25 odd years before that, and we've just always done a lot of business with Producers Co-op. We're very satisfied with everything that's gone on over the years. The co-op has expanded over the years and have a bigger meal, a better meal, and so our feed quality has always been good, but it's done nothing but got better. And anyway, the guys work hard, the ladies work hard, and just growing and growing, it appears. And we still use them for a huge percentage of our grains, our supplements, our supplies, pretty much everything we need as a whole. And they carry a variety of pig feeds, variety of steer feeds, cattle feeds, sheep and goat feeds, and we've just always been taken care of.
Our tagline at the co-op is "It's better here," and probably people's initial reaction is we're talking about our feed products, which if I'm biased, yes, I do think those are better here, but more at our core, it's talking about our people, and that's our employees at all of our stores, at our mill, and our admins who make the wheels of this thing turn every single day, pumping out a high quality feed and also a high quality experience at all 3 of our stores. Also our board members and shareholders who really prop us up and support us and help guide the company over the last 80 years. And then again to our customers who have supported us all this time, come to a feed store every day and trust us to give them the right product, a high quality feed, and get them down the road if it's a stock show or if they're trying to make a production animal or get a crop up. You know, that's our goal here, is to be as productive and as helpful to all of them as we can.
Pretty hard to believe that we've been in business roughly 80 years. Producers Co-op has seen a lot of changes over those 80 years. We've had to learn to adapt. If there's anything that I've learned in my short career, the lifeblood of a co-op is people. The number one goal here is to take care of people, whether it's the producers or the customers, and we have to tune in and listen every day to those customers' needs. So we found over the last 80 years that those needs have changed, and we've done a very good job of adapting to those needs. And looking forward to the next 80 or 100 years, hopefully, our goal is to continue to focus on adapting and changing products and services to take care of the customers. I feel if we're not able to adapt, that's not a good thing for a co-op. And so my goal, even as local around here in Texas, urban sprawl and growing populations and things like that, our goal is to still take care of the ag customers that we have, because agriculture still is the lifeblood of this state and this nation.
The farming acres are going away, but there still is a decent amount of production. It is all dry land production here, so we do have to hunt for rainfall and that's always kind of a factor limiting things. But in good years, they make nice grain crops. Lots of corn planted, some milo, very little wheat for some reason. That's gone away over the last 15 or 20 years. But the way the grain, a lot of that grain will get harvested and it'll come right back to Brad and the employees at Producers Co-op. And a lot of that grain will get processed, or really most of that grain in this area will get processed at Producers Co-op, and it is turned back into show cattle feeds, turned into regular cattle feeds, turned into pig feeds, turned into just about everything. Whereas, that feed goes right back to the same ranchers and FFA and 4-H showers and things like that right here in the area. So
It's obvious that we've been super successful over the last 80 years. There's been highs and lows, but the trajectory that we're on right now is just incredible. Brad and I are honored to help guide the company at this point. It's a changing atmosphere in the ag industry and farming and livestock and things like that. So it's always a moving target on what the next 10, 20, 80 years look like. My goal would be just to support whatever that looks like. We're getting into smaller, you want to call them hobby farmers, or people who are turning over farms and ranches to the next generation, helping that group of people be successful going forward. And also first generation farmers and ranchers. I mean, there's always a place. We're happy to help anyone in any form of their production experience get down the road.
So we've been very fortunate here at the co-op to have some great and loyal members and stockholders. So these are our customers, like I said, the lifeblood of this company. Folks that have been extremely loyal to this business for a number of years, going on 30 or 40. We've been extremely blessed to have some very loyal customers, some very great customers who have pushed us and make us drive every day to be as successful as we can to help them be successful.